So you're thinking about starting an OnlyFans management agency, but before we go into how you're actually going to get started, I wanted to show you the data and the actual numbers. So one, you understand how big of an opportunity this actually is. And then two, you understand how low your competition actually is. So let's get into it. So we go on this article here. In 2024, OnlyFans generated $7.2 billion. There are 4.6 million creators and 300 to 400 million users. And as you can see from this article, you can see here, OnlyFans has more fans than ever, 377.5 million users at the end of 2024, and it's up 24%, and it's growing 9% year on year. It was founded in 2016, etc., etc., etc. Well, what do these numbers actually mean to you? What do they mean to you? Well, $7.2 billion a year is $600 million per month that is made on the platform. 4.6 million creators. And then listen carefully, because this is where it actually applies to you. Because again, these are just numbers from thin air at this point. But where this applies to you, with this amount of creators, there is only 10 to 20,000 agencies in the space, which means there is a high supply of creators and also low amount of agencies, meaning there's a high demand for agencies. It's simple maths. There is less agencies than there are creators, and there is a need for the service that good agencies provide. And this is actually as well, data to back this as well. Inflow is one of the biggest CRMs in OnlyFans management and in managing your OnlyFans pages. And that has about 3,000 agencies, which is about 30% of the total amount of agencies. So think about that. There's only 300 decent agencies using a good CRM with millions of creators in this space. So really understanding how big of an opportunity this is major. So at this point now, your brain is probably asking a bunch of questions, and one might be, well, why would a creator actually give 50% of her income away? Well, good question that you ask, and you might have this misconception right now that most creators make 100K a month, $1 million a month, but the reality is actually very different. And the reality is that a lot of creators aren't actually making much money on OnlyFans. And over 90% of creators need help in order to grow their brand and scale. And where you come in as an agency is, one, you help her with social media to get more fans on her OnlyFans account. And number two, you help her make more money from those fans on her account. That's really as simple as it is. And the reality is that a lot of creators need this help because it's time consuming and it saves them time and makes them more money, which in turn you get paid for. In general, you get paid 50% for that. And you get paid for the time that you save the creator, the value that you bring, and the money that you make her and you make yourself in the process. And that links into as well why this is such a great opportunity, because of the lack of competition, the lack of good agencies in the space. And that lack of competition means it's the best business model that you could do to start and make 5K, make 10K, 15, even 30K profit per month just by delivering a good service. And that's as simple as it has to be, and that's exactly how, step by step, you're going to learn in this actual YouTube tutorial. And as well, do you want to know something else too? All the top creators in the industry have teams behind them. All of them have agencies behind the scenes, helping them to improve their content, go more viral, and make more money on OnlyFans. And the beauty is that you don't have to put your face out there. You can operate this business model behind the scene, fully anonymous, without having to step out your comfort zone, grow a personal brand, do all of these other things, and actually run proper business behind the scenes. So now we go into this example. So when you look at a restaurant, what is the owner actually doing? And one thing you have to think is, in a restaurant, the owner isn't the one cooking the food. He isn't the one serving the food. He isn't the one collecting the bill. All of these tasks and all of these things that are necessary for this restaurant to function, the owner isn't doing. Why? Because he has staff and team members in place. And that's how you want to apply to an OnlyFans account. There is so much that needs doing on an account that one creator solo can't manage fully herself. And that's why partnering with the right agency, partnering with the right team, makes her so much more money, saves her so much more time, while you get paid in the process for implementing the strategy and making more money. And then that's why, as a beginner, when you look at all these other businesses online, you need to think logically. So OnlyFans management versus trading crypto, SMMA, dropshipping, e-com, or forex trading. You have to look at them. Are you in a business that has low supply and high demand, i.e. low amount of agencies, high demand, the product is easy to sell and easy to scale, versus a business that is saturated like e-com, saturated like SMMA, extremely difficult like trading Forex or trading crypto, which aren't really real businesses because you don't actually scale. It's all about just you and a chart on a screen. And when you actively look at these and analyze these businesses, it's genuinely a no-brainer for you to take action and start an OFM agency. If your goal is to make money, if your goal is to scale an agency to 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month, it blows every other business out the water. Why? Because of the fact that there's low supply of good agencies, because of the fact that it's an easy product to sell and it's easily scalable, and because of the fact that there is a constant demand for good agencies, and your ability to perform two models is going to get you paid essentially. So whether you've done any of these other businesses in the past and failed, or whether you haven't done them, you have to look at this opportunity as, what is now going to make me the most cash? What is going to make me the most money? And what is going to set up my life for the future? And if you make that right choice, you're going to be paid in the back end in the months to come by truly taking action with the right business model. So let's actually go in. How much are these girls actually making? So again, I've just pulled up 5 examples of creators that I actively work with. Again, I manage over about 20 models at the moment within the agency, and this is just an example of 5 accounts. So this is an example of one account which does on average about $23,000 a month, just shy of $24,000. Another account which on average does about $50,000 a month. Another account which on average does about $22,000 a month. Another account which on average does about $110,000 a month. And then another account which average does about $16,000 a month. This is literally just an example of 5 accounts, and this is an example of how much money you can actually be making. Let's go into the 2 biggest misconceptions. The 2 biggest misconceptions are, why would a model actually work with me if I'm new? And the second one is it hard to sign models? So, biggest misconception number 1. What we're going to do in this video is actually show you guys my journey step by step and exactly why that misconception can be blown out of the water. The second misconception is it hard to sign models? No, again, with the exact things that I'm going to go through in this video, step by step, you'll have exact clarity in how you sign your first OnlyFans model. So, next one is it actually easy to get started? So the thing is that with this business, your barrier to entry is 0. There isn't actually anything essential and required for you to start, because at the end of the day, you can sign a model, any creator yourself, and that leads into the hardest part of all of this, which is taking fucking action. Right now, the difference between you making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 profit a month with you right now making 0 is taking fucking action. And that is the one thing that separates the guys who are making money and the guys who aren't. Is taking action on the right information. Because the reality is what does it actually take to be at $50,000 per month in this business? The reality actually is that you are one model away. You are one model away from your life changing, your model's life changing. And again, an example is literally right here, a $50,000 a month model. And that's just one example. Everything will change from this video. Because the biggest lesson I learned in my own journey is I actually knew about OFM 6 months before I started, and I didn't take action on knowing about it. Why? Because I had a misconception. I thought you needed to know a model who wanted to do it. Find a model that was actively doing it. From the day I figured that out, the next day I signed a creator. You don't need to work with loads of models. You can work with 1 or 2 and make good money. You don't need to overcomplicate it because it's actually very simple to scale. So before we go into that, we're going to go over into an overview of OF. So the 2 key things in this business that you must nail are 1, signing a good model, 2, understanding how to drive traffic to a page. And that's exactly what we're going to go through in this video. Because the reality is that if you're able to just get these 2 things right and commit to signing a good model, if you master those skills, you are going to make life-changing money. And it's absolutely imperative that you do these things. And to simply put, these are the 2 things you just need to master. Because if you sign a good model and you understand how to drive traffic to a page, you can scale a model to $50,000+ per month. That's as simple as it is. The chatting and the selling to the fans is the easy part. The part that you need to nail is working with a good creator and driving traffic to that page. Because if you learn those 2 skills, you are going to get paid every single month. And I know up until now I've broken down how easy it is and how easy it is to scale, but the reality is that what I haven't mentioned is regardless about how easy it can be, you have to commit. You have to put in the work and the time. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't a make money overnight scheme. This isn't a Forex or crypto scheme. This is a real business that if you actually commit to, you put the time in, you can actually achieve these things. But it all comes down to you. It all comes down to the action that you have to take. And the other thing is how limiting beliefs have been holding you back. So up until now and up until watching this video, if you're not making the money you want to be making, whether you're doing this business or you're not, limiting beliefs has been holding you back with the misconception that it's hard to make money online. It's hard to make 10K per month. It's hard to make 20K per month. And if you understand how these limiting beliefs only apply to you and multiple people have broken out of it, achieved it and went way past it, and you take action on it and don't let these beliefs hold you back, then you're going to go off and make $50,000 a month. It's really as simple as that. Provided you put in the work, provided you take the right steps, these limiting beliefs don't exist. And that's the main thing I wanted to go through before we go into everything that is going to be gone through in this video. Because at the end of the day, if you can change those beliefs and put in the work, you are going to get success. Okay, perfect. So before we actually get into it, if you're an agency watching this video and you want to apply to work with me one-to-one, simply fill out the form below and see if you qualify. Now, let's go straight into it. So, OnlyFans model. These are just an example of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different OnlyFans creators. And first of all, step one is actually how you're going to sign creators. So, as you can see here, we're going to go through all of these different steps so that you have clarity on exactly which ones you need to start on, which ones you need to focus on, and which ones you need to discard. So let's actually first go through which ones you need to discard. So there's 4 ways to sign the model. There's cold outreach, there's warm outreach, which is inbound, there's paid ads, and there's referrals. So when it comes to inbounds and paid ads, just kind of forget about them for now. Again, paid ads, if you're new to the business, it's a cost, it's too expensive, you don't have the experience to understand exactly how to run paid ads. If you do from another business, that could be applied to this. Inbound leads, no experience, you don't have an agency, you don't have creators coming to you or a personal brand. Again, remove those 2 things because those realistically won't work in your position. So you have 2 main things. You have cold outreach and referrals. So let's go into cold outreach because that's probably the most universal thing that you can take action on. Number 1 is your Instagram profile. So a lot of guys complain about not signing a creator and their Instagram profile looks like this. Random account, private, no feed post, no perceived value, and your chances of anyone taking you serious are pretty much 0. If you want to look at a decent Instagram, have a look at mine, for example. Quality feed posts, high quality highlights, active stories, followers, and engagement. And when I actually started this business, I signed creators off my Instagram. Why? Because I invested in good pictures, not even in a cost, just in a time. I went out of my way to get good pictures, have my perceived value on my Instagram profile look high. Why? Because I understand that it's the perceived value that matters. It doesn't matter what I actually value. To sign a client, it comes down to your perceived value. And having a bad Instagram, people won't take you seriously. People won't want to work with you. Why? Because you don't have proof of success. And even if it's bullshit and you don't have success yet, investing in that Instagram, making sure your Instagram looks lean and gives you the highest chance possible to sign a client is essential because at the end of the day, you want to heighten that chance as much as possible. So that's first of all the actual account you're going to outreach on. Now let's actually go into the model account. So when it comes to the model account, you want to look for certain things. Number 1, you don't want to go too high. So a lot of big creators in this space, 100K, 300K, 500K followers, they've probably been messaged by most agencies before. And you want to do your best in terms of finding creators that are newer to the space, that haven't been with loads of agencies, and there is more likelihood that you actually close them. So the few filters when it comes to looking for model accounts is 500 to 80,000 followers, USA based. You want to focus on USA clients. The reason being is because 1, there is no discrepancies with language, with accent, within the content. 2, they're generally easier to deliver success on and easier to scale. 3, you don't have to deal with low quality models that don't convert, i.e. South American models, Eastern European models that make your job, i.e. more difficult to actually get to $50,000 per month. Another one is actively doing OnlyFans. Another thing you have to be clear about is You're looking for creators who are actively doing OnlyFans. The likelihood that you sign a creator that decides today that they want to do OnlyFans is extremely low. So you want to focus on creators that are actively doing OnlyFans themselves and actively need help in order to grow, in order to scale. And again, not too huge of a following, over 100,000 followers. These are just some examples I found as making this video. Great example here, 700 followers, new account, good feed post, good model, bang. Second one, a bit of a bigger one, 70k followers, but again, good feed post, good account too. Third one, 25k followers, again, active account, active post, good. Another one, 20k followers, another example, great account, great goal to message. So this is what you really want to commit to, because at the end of the day, when it comes to learning the skill of finding model accounts, that's something that is going to come with time and it's going to come with commitment. And you want to make sure that you are constantly improving the types of models that you find. It's something I go a lot deeper into when it comes to getting success with client acquisition, is that you really need to commit to finding the types of models that other agencies don't spend the time to find. Going down rabbit holes, going down funnels, going down a creator's following. How you actually find these creators is actually relatively simple. As you can see, this button here is a suggested button, which will suggest other accounts that are similar to Berkeley's account, for example, and also their following. So in their following, they're going to follow other creators similar to them. Those creators are going to follow other creators similar to them. Again, you want to use this as much as possible, because the more suggested accounts that you find, the more that you go down the rabbit hole, the better, more niche, the better, more the better, more unfindable creators there are. And the more likelihood you close them, because they're not DM'd by 100 agencies. Because at the end of the day, what most agencies are doing is this. Again, this was a random Instagram account that we manage, and we got this message. We specialize in helping creators scale their social media, blah, 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 blah. It's bullshit. And I'm going to go through what message you're actually going to use. But creators are used to receiving these kind of messages. And if you don't spend the time to find the creators that don't actively always get these messages and have good potential on OnlyFans, have good potential to succeed, they're going to be likelihood that you close a model like this. So let's go into the next part. Understanding outreach and the psychology behind it. When you message someone, you're not just sending a pitch. You're guiding a psychological journey that moves them from a stranger, cold, to curious, to open, to engage, and then to converted. And this is exactly, again, what not to do. Why? Because what does this show? One, is a model really going to read that? Is there really going to be a chance that you read that message and just book a call? Two, again, it gives me zero reason for me to reply. As a creator, you want to put your mind into the psychology behind a creator that receives messages like this every single day. So that's why that's shit. And we'll go through what the framework is to use. So the 4 stages, or the 4 psychological stages of outreach. Number 1 is to intrigue. When you look at a message like that, again, come on now, I don't need to go over it again. But your main objective is to intrigue. It's not to sell in the first message. This is trying to sell. Let's get on a quick call and show you exactly how to make this happen. Your job is to intrigue on the first message, just to get attention. Because why? It pattern interrupts. It's the unexpected angle, a genuine compliment to start curiosity. This could be about either complimenting the creator, asking her a question, noticing something on her profile picture, on her feed that you want to point out to her. Maybe a link is wrong. Maybe there's something that she's missing out on. Maybe there's something that you wanted to tell her. And your main goal with your first message is simply to intrigue, because if you get that reply, you get that foot in the door. And that's the kind of approach that you want to follow. You don't want to mouth blur everything to a model within your first or second or third message. You want to focus on triggering curiosity. The next is you want to understand their pain or understand their connection. So at the end of the day, the first message is to intrigue. Next is to build rapport. So again, get to know the creator more, not in that way, but kind of get to know what they're struggling with, what they're facing, what problems are they facing, and empathize, relate to those problems. They might be with loads of bad agencies in the past. They might have pain related to that. And your main thing is just show that you understand her and really actually ask the right questions. Don't ask surface level questions. Try to dig deeper into what it is that she's struggling with. Because at the end of the day, if she's happy, nothing's wrong, there's nothing wrong with her account, or she's happy with her results, it's going to be difficult to close her. And you're really focusing on creators that have that pain and really want to grow and really want to scale, and you're coming in to fix that and actually present the solution for that. So the next part of that is, once you understand what their pain is or what their problems are, and you actually have the solution to solve them, you can introduce your solution and essentially offer to get on a call. So going through, again, linking back to the intriguing factor, you don't just want to create everything you do. When it says pitch your offer, you don't want to just tell her everything you do. How you want to approach it is from a position of confidence, and from a frame of confidence that you've done it before, number one, know exactly what you need to do to get her out of this situation or get her to scale to X amount per month, and you simply just intrigue her again to get on a call. Like, look, I know I've seen this before, I've worked with other creators that have been in this kind of situation before. If you're free tomorrow, we can get on a quick call. I can kind of break down a bit more how I could help and how we could get you to X amount of outcome that you've already gone through. And again, doing this conversationally, not like a pitch deck. Your whole objective with outreach is to be be as unsalesy as possible. It should not feel like a sell. It should feel natural. It should be a natural process where gets message, replies, intrigues, figures out her pain, go through the call, close the client, and then go on to work with her. And that's the only thing, is she has to trust you. She has to trust that you can solve the problem and de-risk the decision. So giving value, giving proof, giving a no pressure way to call. So the easiest way is calling on Instagram or WhatsApp, because it reduces the amount of friction there is and gives them more clarity so that they're not getting sold to. And again, this is just a framework. The reason why I haven't gone through a step-by-step script is because at the end of the day, this framework, it comes down to how you apply this. It comes down to how you take action on how this applies to you. Because there are multiple different ways when it comes to signing creators. You could be outreaching off your personal account, outreaching off other accounts, which you're going to go through in the referral section of this video. But your main objective is, again, to understand the framework, because the split test, the changes, the alterations is where you come in as a business owner. And that's where you find the success and what actually works. So let's actually go through what it takes. So per Instagram account, you're allowed to send about 60 DMs a day. Per week, that's about 420 DMs per week. Per month, about 1,800 DMs per month. And that's the bare minimum in terms of what it takes. The bare minimum is sending 60 messages a day, is finding 60 good leads a day, and tracking these inputs. Because at the end of the day, you have to put in the reps. This is outreach. This is the start of your journey in this business. You have got to put in the reps. You can't skip the hard work. The other side of it is actually tracking your work. Again, you can shoot blanks all of this stuff and have no idea with what's actually working and what's actually not working. So the main thing you want to do when it comes to outreach is track your data, your lead quality, your reply rate, your call booked rate, your close rate. Why do you want to track this, you may ask? Well, when you actually track this data, you can make improvements based on data, not based on feeling. You can improve your reply rate, improve your lead quality, improve your call book rate, and improve your close rate. And all of these alterations compound over time so that you are more likely to sign a good model. So when it actually comes to when do you want to make changes based off the data? So you want to stick to 1,000 messages. So every 1,000 messages, you want to then look for improvements. Why? Because if you only send 100 messages and you only get 10 replies, for example, you don't have enough data points to go off to make a decision. You want to test that for 1,000 messages, so then you can make tweaks that are more accurate and based off accurate versus inaccurate data. You need to test things properly as well. Without tracking your data correctly or doing the volume necessary, you'll make the wrong changes that don't have any outcome. And that's the main thing. Again, when it comes to signing your first model, you want to make sure that you're doing the inputs right. You're doing the main things right. Because the thing is that outreach isn't glamorous, it's repetition, discipline, and belief that the right person will say yes. And you're not just sending DMs, you're building momentum. Every message is a rep, every no is a piece of data, and every day you show up gives you one step closer to the person who actually needs to hear what you have to offer. So stay committed, because the breakthrough comes those who refuse to stop before it actually happens. And that's essentially when it comes down to outreach, because at the end of the day, if you get disheartened for doing this for 2 weeks and not signing a model, this business isn't for you. You have to commit. You have to put in the rep. And the other side of signing your first client, which is what I'm going to go through, is going to absolutely aid and speed run your journey if you don't have other factors in place that are going to make it easier for you to sign a client. So if we summarize outreach again, is the framework, intriguing the model, relating to the model, presenting your offer, and getting on a call and closing the model. What not to do, there's no point going through that again. Understanding the psychology, cold, it's a random person, pattern disrupting them with curiosity, getting them to open up, and then getting them to close. Accounts, again, 500 to 80k followers, USA based, actively doing OnlyFans, and not too huge of accounts. And again, throughout this whole video, guys, make sure that you're taking notes, making sure that you're taking clear notes that you can take action on. So we'll go over now into the other side of outreach, which is referrals/recruiters. So the other side of client acquisition is referrals and recruiters. And again, it all depends on your situation. And when you are getting started in this business, being resourceful and doing all the inputs that it takes is absolutely necessary. That's one of the difference between the guys who go on to scale their agency to 6 figures per month and the guys that stay stuck at 0. It's how resourceful are you with what you have at your disposal? So what's actually a referral or recruiter actually? So a referral or recruiter is someone that will bring you a client to work with and you do all the work. They bring you a client in exchange for 5 to 10% of the account's earnings, and that will be the lifetime earnings of the account. So they make passive income if you're able to deliver results in the account, but the objective is that they bring you clients and you do the work. So how do you actually sign people that are going to bring you models? Well, outreaching to sign them. Again, this is why your Instagram is your hub. You having a good Instagram ensures that you can actually outreach and sign people that will bring you models, whether it's guys, whether it's girls, it doesn't matter. Because at the start of your journey, when you're starting out, focusing on signing referrals and recruiters will be more likely than signing an OnlyFans model if your Insta isn't the best. And that's why I go back to using your cards. If you don't have the best Insta, you would want to look to find someone who has a better Insta and how they can bring you a model. Why? Because they'll have a higher reply rate and a higher chance that they close. Now, the other side of that is using your own network. So, your own network, this is a key thing. So, right now, you probably either know OnlyFans creators yourself, either don't know OnlyFans creators yourself, but regardless, you probably know a friend who knows a model, or know a friend who knows how to sign a model, or know a friend who actually has a good Instagram story that is able to sign a model. And one thing that you want to do is leverage everyone you know around you. Your friends that could have Instagram profiles, girls that you know that want to earn money for referring a model, friends that go out a lot, club promoters, guys that go to raves, all of these type of people that right now might be the stuff that you're doing day to day as well yourself, but all of these people, you probably know someone like this, and you can actually leverage that friendship so that they earn money and you earn money. And that comes from you and that comes from your approach. And the best example of this, I'm actually going to show you my own story. So I've said it in all of my YouTube videos, how I've made, in my first month in this business, $35,000. And the funny thing is, I actually went and got all the screenshots, and I'll kind of go through the exact process, because literally this is me at 19, driving a broken down Volkswagen Polo, and this is what I was doing while I was driving. So these are some of the accounts, and I found the screenshots from when I started. So my actual journey in terms of within OFM, like I mentioned at the start of this video, I knew about this business without taking action. I knew about it 6 months before I actually started with it, because I had the misconception that you needed to know a model that wanted to start it. However, I had a switch, and this was in June 2022, so nearly over 4 years ago now, where I realized that you could just sign models who are actively doing it. The minute I made that switch, I went straight away and started outreaching to models. This is an example of, I'll go into this later actually, this one I already had a model, but as you can see Bumble, or Tinder, sorry, back then. You can see the OnlyFans account. You can see me looking at cars to buy after my first month. You can also see the earnings, and I'll go through. But so how I actually signed my first model. Well, first model I signed, I literally outreached myself from my own Instagram account. I tried to get a screenshot of how my account looked, but I signed my first model just through my own Instagram account. She just started OnlyFans about 2 weeks ago, needed help, etc. But what I actually done, and what really changed the game, was here, again, being resourceful. And and leveraging friends. So what I went and done, and I analyzed things, and I said, cool. My Instagram had about 1K followers, random posts, etc. I had friends who knew people who had Instagrams with 20K, 30K, 40, 50K followers and had better profiles than mine. And literally exactly what all I done is pitch the referral to them and pitch that if they bring me a model and I close the model, then they can get a percentage referral. And exactly what I actually done was the reason why I signed better clients. And again, this is like first day on this account, $800. This is the first 3 days on the account, $3,000. The first 2 weeks on the account, $5,000. And then once I started to get success, I started to use that to sign other models. This is some random other model. And look, easily, does he have reviews? Message him on WhatsApp. I was starting to funnel other creators to me. And as you can see now, 1, 2, 3 OnlyFans accounts. Obviously, you've got the car in the background. And as you can see, within the first around 3 weeks in, one of the pages was at $8,000. Another page was at $12,000. Another page at $5,000. Another page at $6,000. So total net, that was 25, 26 in 3 weeks. And I don't have the 4-week screenshot, unfortunately. But as you can see, again, examples of upselling with the fans. But that's how I started. I started by being resourceful. I used my network, I used my own Instagram profile and signed 4 models on the back of it. But that's how it should compound as an agency, because once you get proof of concept, which is really easy to do, again, my first few days on an account, 3K in sales. Once you get that proof of concept, it's actually really easy to sign more clients because that's how you're easily able to scale. And that exact same framework in terms of signing a recruiter, 5 to 10% of the lifetime earnings, or you can pay them up front as well. And all they have to do is introduce the client and it's passive income for them. And also you have to work with the clients. You don't have to manually outreach yourself. You're leveraging other people's time and make it higher chance for you to succeed. And the other side of this is exactly a case study of one of my students. So this is an example of Oscar, who again applied this same framework to sign his first model, and within signing his first model, the results were actually pretty insane. So within the first 2 weeks, he managed to get to 1K a day, 5K days up next, then 2K a day, first model launch, fresh socials, last week on 60 split to the agency, so their agency is actually taking 60%, fresh model just launched, and then 3 more days later, actually had a 5.3K day on inflow, 1 model, 5.3K a day, hiring staff. Again, I actually went to see when the 1K day was done. 5 days earlier, the 1K day was hit. So within 5 days, the model was scaled from $1,000 to $5,000 a day. And that is literally all it took. All because he leveraged referrals and all because he leveraged other people to bring him the right type of model. And that's how easy it actually is in this business. Because if you sign the right clients, you can go from 0 to 35K. In Oscar's case, 0 to 5K a day in your first 30 days. And that's the beauty of this business model, because there isn't anything like that. There isn't anything where if you do the right inputs, you get the right outputs. And that's why I hammer it so much, that if you put the time into signing the right client, you go above and beyond and make sure that you take it one step further to sign a recruiter or sign a model directly. That's how you're going to make the difference and get yourself paid. If you are working with recruiters, how you coach them, coaching them to find the best model, coaching them on how they close them, how they set up the call better to increase the sharp rate, and holding them accountable to the amount of messages they send. Again, how I signed my first few clients because I sent them the leads. I made sure that they messaged them and I went above and beyond. And again, what does this all come back to? It comes back to breaking your limiting beliefs, because everyone says that they want success, but few actually mean it. Truth is, this game will test you and you'll get ignored, rejected, doubted. But if you push through that and show up every single day, execute when it's uncomfortable, you're going to separate yourself from 99% of people. And the best example of this is actually myself as well. I had all of my close friends, I helped them all start their own agency when I started. I gave them all each a model. Every model that I signed about 4 models, and every other model after that, I simply gave it to them and let them run their own agency. What's the difference between me and them now? Right now, they're stuck working electrician jobs, plumbing jobs, random jobs, doing random work, stuck working a job. Why? Because of their belief system, because of their limiting beliefs. They had everything on a plate, yet they still didn't take action. Yet they still didn't do what is necessary. And that's the only thing that's going to hold you back. I've always had the belief from when I started this business at 19 that I was going to make money. Whether it was this business or another business, I was going to become rich, retire my parents, move out, move into my dream apartment, all of these things. And it always comes down to your belief system. You have to believe it, and you have to prove to yourself, not to me, not to anyone, that you truly want it. Because I went above and beyond and I made shit work. And that's the same thing that you have to do if you haven't got the success that you want now. Because that's what separates the people who are successful for the people who aren't successful. But that kind of summarizes in terms of how you're going to sign a first client. So it's either going to be directly with cold outreach or through referrals and through recruiters. And the main premise is this is putting in the reps, going above. So to summarize client acquisition, the main two things: cold outreach, referrals and recruiters, and making sure that you're doing the reps, going above and beyond, and making sure that you do everything to sign your first client. And that's going to be the differentiating factor. Again, it all comes down to the action that you take, the action I've taken, the action Oscar's taken, and that can be you if you break your own limiting belief system. But once you've actually got a model to the point that she wants to get on a call with you, how do you actually do your first sales call? A lot of people overcomplicate this, but it's actually really relatively very simple. So the sales call with a model, typically that would have been already pre-done by WhatsApp, set up the time and a date, or on Instagram, in the Instagram group chat. The first thing is start normally, as if you're just fucking calling anyone. Ask her about her day, ask her about how it's been, and just build a bit of rapport. The next is you want to just figure out her journey. So literally just asking the simple question, like, okay, cool, let's get straight into it. So can you kind of break me down, like, what's your journey been like with OnlyFans? How long have you been doing it? How's it going? Just give me a full rundown on everything, and just let her speak. Let her explain to you her pain, what's holding her back, what the issues are, and simply just keep digging and asking. So don't settle for surface answer questions. The third thing is figuring out the real pain. So figuring out what's the issue. Maybe it's she doesn't have chatters on her account, she's chatting all day. Maybe she's not able to grow on Instagram, she's not able to get fans, she's not able to earn enough to quit her job or go in full time. There's so many different pain points and pain factors that you need to dig into. And again, it's really simple. It's really just asking the right questions. I really wouldn't overcomplicate it too much, and just figuring out what the issue is. And then once you have a clear understanding of what the issue is, it's just simply presenting the solution. So presenting how you step in and how you help. You help bring traffic. You do it by this. You do it through Instagram. You do it through this. This is what you focus on. This is why you get results. This is what you would do on her account. And really make her understand in a bit more detail what it is that you do. You don't have to do any fancy sales tactics, any fancy closing tactics. You really just have to provide clarity. What do you actually do, and how do you actually help? And you don't need to be overly excited or anything. It's really normal at this point. And the main thing is that your solution solves her pain. It gets her to her income goal. She has clear targets. She knows exactly what you're going to do in order to get to that. It's results driven. You don't just airy-fairy just claim certain things. You know how to actually do them. And pitching your offer and closing. Again, when it comes to explaining what you do and for the services that you do, you typically work with each client on a 50-50 basis. That's just really always what has worked, always what we found fair, and what we do with our other models. You want to, again, come from the frame that you're normal at this. You actively work with clients. I done it at the start. I just came with the mindset and the frame that I already work with models. I'm already a successful agency. Why wouldn't you work with me? And the funny thing is that will become a reality if you choose it too. So once you've done that model, you've explained the percentages, you've gone through how it will work with you, and you've answered any questions. Always ask if there's any questions or anything that you want to cover. The main thing from there is understanding what happens post-call. So you would typically just collect her email and send her a contract through DocuSign, where you would send it to her email, she would fill it all out, etc. If you want the contract template, you can simply just DM me and I'll send you my own contract template that we work with our clients with. And once you send that contract template, then you want to begin with, once she sends that back and signed, you want to make the WhatsApp group chat for our OFM team. Obviously, if it's just you, again, it'll just be you and her. but I would still make a group chat just to separate it. And again, you want to start with onboarding. Now, onboarding is actually one of the most key things, and I don't want it to go over your head, because at the end of the day, again, we're going to go through all of this stuff in the rest of this video, but when it comes to onboarding, making sure that you get the onboarding right is super, super, super important, because a lot of agencies actually overlook onboarding and they rush the process, but it's one of the most important things of the relationship with a new creator, because it sets the foundation on how she'll work, what she will expect, and what she needs to do in order to perform and you to get your results. Because at the end of the day, it's a team effort. You need good content from her that's going to perform well on social media, and you need to know what that content is, how to get the right content, how to know content's going to perform, and how to drive fans to that page. And that's a team effort. You can't be pulling all the weight, she can't be pulling all the weight, or the value isn't mutual. So when you onboard a creator, you want to set up a proper call and really just take the time to understand her and kind of just get to know, one, what does she enjoy filming, how she sees her brand, how she wants to be represented, and go in detail what her content plan will look like in terms of filming, in terms of shooting, in terms of posting on Instagram Reels, and really use the call to educate her and make her understand how it is going to be setting the right expectations with working with you as an agency. When you set those right expectations, it makes it easier to work with her long term, because there's clear understanding of what success is. There's clear understanding of her journey with the agency will be. And she has the right expectations about what's required from her as a team, as a member of the team, and is fully aligned and bought in. She understands what's necessary from both sides for results to happen. And you understand her, and that's the most important thing, because to market a creator, which is what we're going to go through, is you need to understand what's going to work for her, because it isn't going to be the same thing that's going to work for every model, and it's going to have to be tailored to this model, and you can't speed run that process. You have to put in the time to understand her as a person more. So during the onboarding, these are the 4 areas or 5 areas that you need to focus on. So 1, logistics. So what you want to get is a video of her room. So in her apartment, her house, wherever she lives, you want to get the logistics of how that room looks. So where can you film your Instagram content, your social media content? In the bedroom, how is the lighting? In the living room, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the garden, wherever in the house there is, you want to get the logistics right. The next, you want to get the brand and identity right. So from that onboarding call, you have a bigger picture of what her brand is, what her identity is, what does she enjoy doing, what are angles that we can use within the marketing, and we'll go through that later as well. Her goals. So you want to look at what's her target? What does she want to make on OnlyFans? Is it 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000? And how do you make those goals a reality? How do you translate those goals into milestones, into metrics, into things that you can work towards and target towards, so that you can actually hit these goals together as a team? The next is fear, pain, and limiting beliefs. So if she's worked with an agency before, or if she hasn't, she's going to have fear and pain about what it actually takes to grow, or misunderstanding. And you need to break that as the agency owner. She's worked with bad agencies before. Why are you different? You're working one-to-one with her. You're committed to the result. You have to make it work with her. You're going to make it work with her. Why? Because of your process, how you understand Instagram, your approach to Instagram, your content alignment, and then also setting the right expectations. So within working with the model, you need content from her, and you need to perform on that content. So setting the expectations for the shoots that you have. So in your Instagram shoots, how many reels are you getting done per shoot? How many shoots per week? We typically aim for about 3 or 4 per week shoots with the clients, so that we get enough content for posting on Instagram, enough content to post 3-4 times a day to test enough variations and split tests of the content. And making sure that you're both clear on what it's going to take, because again, a lot of agency owners complain about their model is lazy, but at the end of the day, it's really more so a reflection of you and your systems and your processes. Because if you're setting the right expectations, you're having clear understanding of what it takes, it's really not that difficult to have a good working relationship and get the best out of your clients. And that's kind of really the main things in onboarding. Onboarding really sets the tone of what it's actually going to be like with your agency, and making sure that you're super clear on it, super clear on what it's going to take, super clear, the creator is clear, you're clear on what you have to do. And again, you're going to know what you have to do now because we've got all of this to go through, but making sure that you don't skip this. And if you already have a creator and you skip through this onboarding, I would genuinely take the time to call with your model and do this whole process, because without this, it's going to make the other things really difficult. But let's actually go into now, what do you actually do when you have your first model? So what do you actually do when you have your first model? Well, you've now signed a client. You've got two things. You've got traffic, which is here, and you've got chatting, which is here. Now, how do these actually work? Well, traffic is essentially how you get fans on the account. Instagram, Twitter, Reddit are the three examples I'm going to go through. Chatting is how you make money from those fans in the account. So once you've got those fans in, how you actually extract the money from them. How these two things work. Traffic is essential for you to scale, because the more traffic you're able to provide, the better you're able to provide traffic, the more money you're able to make on the account. That's how you take a model's account from 10K to 50 or 100K a month, or from 0 to 10K. However, chatting, over here, chatting is where 90% of the income of your account actually comes from. So making sure that you're chatting at the highest level is absolutely essential. We're going to go first into traffic, and 3 platforms are broken it down to. Another big thing is a lot of beginners try to overcomplicate it. Use dating apps, use random dating apps, use random ways of getting traffic, streaming, all of these other platforms that essentially make it difficult and split your focus. Your focus with traffic is you want to master one, and I'm going to go through why you master Instagram later in this video. But in terms of these 3 platforms, Reddit and Twitter are basically platforms which are great to run in the background and on the side, and they don't require much effort to actually get success. Because if your model has the right look, on Reddit you're easily able to scale to 10K a month, on Twitter as well. But on Instagram, this is your main focus on how you scale to 50,000 plus a month. So we'll go through Reddit first. So how Reddit works, this is the breakdown, is you need a subreddit sheet. So the actual subreddit sheet here, I'm going to link this in the description of this video. It has a bunch of subreddits that I actively use and we actively use in the agency. So you get access to that for free. That's your subreddit sheet. But the actual process is you're going to, 1, need to get a 4G mobile proxy off Grid Panel. 2, you're going to need to get an anti-detect browser. And what you meant to make sure with Reddit is you're warming up the accounts correctly. So a lot of people have issues with shadow bans with Reddit, which usually comes down to a lack of warm-up and a bad or an incomplete warm-up process. So how warm-up actually looks, and we've got the whole SOP written out here, but essentially, day 1 of the account, you want to create the account, add a new account, add your proxy that you've got from Grid Panel. Again, Dolphin Anti is just an anti-detect browser. What it literally looks like is like this. So you can have different Chrome browsers open that have different proxies. So it looks like you're from a different location on each browser. It's not all from the same IP address, which they'll link it and ban your account. So the actual process, you create the account, you name the account, you log into the Reddit with a Gmail or an Outlook associated with the account, you do the capture. You use this to, again, add cookies and make the account look realistic, like you're not just a bot that's made the account. You make the Reddit account. Again, you can screenshot this, save this, write this down so that you can understand it, making the account right, humanizing the account, making sure that you're actually using it like a human would. The biggest thing with OFM marketing is that a lot of people deal with shadow bans or bans or all of these other things, and the main reason is they're using the account like a bot. And the more of a bot that you use your account, of course you're going to have more chance of you getting shadow banned or banned, because normal people, they don't sign up to Reddit and do all the things that you're trying to do. So you need to humanize the account and make it as realistic and as human as possible so that you don't get shadowed or you don't get banned. And this is exactly what to do in terms of, again, to start farming karma. So from day 2 is when you want to start engagement. So again, just reading, putting and commenting. And once you've done that warm-up process, the next thing you want to do is actually farm your own karma. So within OFM, a lot of people buy Reddit accounts, which is fine, and it used to work great. The issue is that with these bought accounts, a lot of these accounts get shadow banned actually very easily. And if you just learn how to farm karma, it's actually fairly simple. So essentially how to farm karma is on Reddit. You simply go on meme Reddit, on humor-based Reddit, and essentially all you really need to do is look at the top performing posts, use those posts as inspiration, either by typically the rules won't allow us to just copy and paste, but using the top performing posts and using them as inspiration to post in these subreddits and get upvotes. Typically you'll get 1 to 5k upvotes for a good post, and within the first week, that's what you're really focusing on. Because at the end of the day, in the OnlyFans subreddits, in most of these subreddits, as you can see from this list here, you need a karma requirement if we check on the requirements, but I'm not going to click on these because I'm not logged in. So those are the main things you want to focus on, is really farming the karma so you can actually start posting in these subreddits. But again, all of that stuff for more detail, you can easily get YouTube tutorials because it's fairly simple. We're really here for the actual source. So once you've done that, you need to find the best 10 subreddits for your model. Now, the best 10 subreddits are one that applies to your model's looks and to your model's brand and to your model's niche. So if your model is Asian, more Asian related subreddits that are linked to being Asian or Wasian or petite. If she's more chubby or big boob, models that fit that niche. If she's dominant, dominatrix, femboy, all of this stuff, more to that niche, and tailoring the subreddits to your niche. So you want to get a list for about 20 to 30, and then just split test which ones they perform best in. In terms of per day, you only want to post 10 subreddits per day, otherwise you will get shadow banned. The main thing with Reddit is natural amateur content. So your content, you don't want to be overly have overly makeup on the model, if that makes sense. You don't want to have overly dolled up models. You want to really be as amateur and natural as possible. Unlike IG, Reddit user base is a lot more older people that are just more into natural girls. And in terms of your model's content, you don't want anything professionally done. You want things that are natural, selfie, amateur-y, in bed type of content. And always as well focus on not going fully crazy and fully nude on Reddit. You really want to be more safe for work and more of a hint of sexuality, because again, that's going to allow you to convert better, have more people sub to the OnlyFans account. And your goal with Reddit is about 100 free fans a day. With Reddit and with Twitter and with Instagram, starting out, I would focus on getting free fans. So that's either with a paid page, with a free trial, a free promotion on the page, not a free trial link, or that's a free page. The reason why is because you have more fans to sell to. More fans to sell to means more chance you can make money from more fans, and their average spend is going to be lower than a paid page. But because you have low traffic, you can actually grow an account with 100 free fans a day to $30,000 a month. And again, if we just go all the way back up here, an example of like certain accounts, this account here genuinely gets about 50 free subs a day and make $24,000 a month. And that's a great example of you don't need a lot of traffic to make money in this business, but that's what you want to use these other platforms for, as things that are on the side. So that's kind of Reddit broken down, again, as simple as possible so you can take as much action as possible. When it comes to Twitter now, so Twitter and Reddit, again, your goal is not something crazy, it's 100 free fans a day. And these can be easily done on the side, and I'm going to go through hiring and everything later on in this video. But Twitter is very, very similar. It's more so, the platform is a bit different. So your strategy is comment baiting, make or take over your model Twitter. Lots of models do have Twitter, so you can easily take over their active accounts, or you can make a new account. The warm-up process is fairly simple for Twitter. You just want to buy verification. But what you want to do on Twitter is find other big Twitter OF creators. Sophie Rain, I'm sure everyone knows about her, is an example of a big creator, and her Twitter, she buys a bunch of promos, she gets shouted out on a bunch of accounts, and finding the accounts that she uses, and again, the people that she follows, the top OnlyFans performing creators, where are they commenting under? Because you can literally use these accounts as bait and start commenting under these accounts. Again, this is a random football account that's posted this. You can easily, if you have post notifications on, so follow the account that they reply to and put on your post notifications, you can easily have about 50 to 100 Twitter accounts post notifications on and start comment baiting under all these accounts. So every time they post, you can post a first trap under the video in their comments, and for the caption you can use ChatGPT to help you, and just copy what's working on the top creators. If you check on my YouTube, I have a Twitter video with about 10k views, I have another Twitter video. This is exactly what we do. It's exactly how we took a model to 50k a month with just Twitter alone. But I don't want you to put your all into this, because this literally runs on the side in terms of how simple it actually is. Day 1, it's 10 replies. Day 2, it's 20 replies. Day 3, it's 40. Day 4, it's 60. Day 5, it's 80. Day 6, it's 100. Day 7, it's 120. And essentially with this, you can easily hire a virtual assistant to take over this. And this is going to apply a lot to chatting, but I'm going to go through how you hire a virtual assistant later down in this video. Because again, with Twitter, your target's 100 free fans a day. And these two platforms, I don't want these to take over your focus on Instagram, because at the end of the day, your ability to make fuck you money, or not even fuck you money, your ability to make $50, $20, $10,000 a month with OnlyFans is really boiling down to how good you are at short form content and Instagram traffic. And by far, that's going to be your main focus. So to summarize Reddit and Twitter, you kind of want these running on the side. You pretty much want to get these accounts running and spend a few hours of your day on these when you can then focus the rest of your hours on Instagram. So, first of all, why is Instagram the best platform? Well, Instagram is the best platform because you can leverage a skill. What is that skill? You can leverage your ability to make engaging short-form content. And the reason with Instagram is, one, understanding how it works. So when it comes to actually scaling on Instagram and scaling in client success, your focus has got to be on traffic. And why and how does that work? Well, your goal is obviously to create videos that the customer wants to watch, that keeps them on the app and keeps them scrolling on the app or watching for more. Because the more people that you're able to keep on the app, the more Instagram pushes your content. The more views you get, the more people subscribe to the OnlyFans, the more money you make. So the more consistent you are, the easier it is to go from 10 to 20,000, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 300, 300 to a million followers, because of how good your content is. And if you're able to really master Instagram and really master how to make engaging content that people want to watch, content that people want to re-watch, and content that people actually resonate with and enjoy watching, you're going to make a lot of money on OnlyFans, because Instagram are just going to push you more and have you have more views, gain more conversions, gain more subscribers because of your ability to market a model. And that's why you need to focus on this, because you should focus on short form and why not other. And that's why you need to focus on this, because organic short form is really what's going to be the difference, because you're building a long-term brand. You going viral today will pay you in a month from now, because that will consistently push. Once you have that, you create leverage, because you're building a brand around your model, which leverages your skill and allows your model to earn hundreds of thousands for years to come, provided you're still working with her, provided you're still running her OnlyFans account. That brand grows over time. You post on a 3 million or a 1 million follower Instagram account, you're going to get more views and more subs regardless, because you've built up that brand, that core audience. And that's the main thing. You're building something long term. It's like a business that you're building to sell, but you're building it to get paid consistently, because once you have this skill, it's really the easiest way, because you don't need 10 models. Again, you've seen these examples, if we just go back to the top, examples of one sole creator that earns, if I go back to here, one sole creator earning $110,000 net a month. That's an example of leveraging and really building a brand. And without that, you aren't able to experience the heights and the leverage of doing that at a high level. And when we compare short form to other forms of traffic that people focus on when they first get started, so why do ads not work? Well, ads don't work because your LTV isn't that high per subscriber. You're making $5 to $50 per subscriber, depending on whether they're paid or free. I'll go through that in a second. LTV is lifetime customer value, but I'll go through what that actually means. It means average spend per subscriber. So that's why you don't want to focus on ads. And the thing with ads is that they don't apply the same way that they do with other businesses such as e-com or such as any other kind of online businesses where you can run paid ads to scale. With OFM, they're kind of more of a thing on top of organic short form. Because the thing with organic short form is that if you leverage that and get good at it, is that you don't need to put more money into it to make more money. You just need to get better at the skill. Long form, why not to focus on long form? Again, it's very long term in terms of building it up, and you're not going to have that instant impact to grow a model within 30 days, within 20 days, within 10 days, because it's more long form to build that long core audience. Black hat and dating apps, no fucking go. An update will come out literally every week. I don't know if there's still people doing it at this point, and if there is, they're in a shit show because they haven't built anything real. They're in the realm of the hands of a platform such as Tinder, Bumble, other types of dating app, that if they make it up, they've added so many updates at this point, I don't even know what's going on with them now. Their whole business crumbles, all their traffic goes away, and that's why you want to focus on something that you can build long term, like Instagram, because your ability to build $100, $200, $300,000 Instagram profiles will literally mean it so that every single month you're earning money. And that's kind of how Instagram works, as a kind of overall summary. Because the main thing is that you focus on the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference, and that one thing is Instagram. So let's actually go through market research. So actually understanding, what do you now do? So you've signed a model, you're starting with Twitter, you're starting with Reddit, you're posting content for there. What do you actually need to do when it comes to Instagram? So understanding that you need to understand, what does the market look like? So within your model, whatever niche she fits in, whatever brand she fits in, she might be petite with small boobs, she might be taller, like 6 foot, for example. She might be a MILF with big boobs, she might be small with big boobs, she might be natural bum, she might be Latina, Asian, white. All of these other things is, you need to understand what's her market sector and what are the best performing creators in that market. So how you actually do this is you cook your For You page. And what does cook your For You page actually mean? It means really simply finding any account that is a model in your creator's niche and watching their videos fully. Because once you watch one video on your For You page, any video that comes up, if you stay on that and watch that fully, that Instagram will show more of that content because it assumes that you like that kind of content. So on the actual feed, you should only start getting more and more and more of that type of content. Let's say it's boob-related content, you're getting more and more and more boob-focused content. And you want to get it to the point that you have one dedicated Instagram account to this creator, again, within a market sector. So only other models that film content that is similar come up on that feed. And that's going to give you a list of about 20 top performing creators in that sector. And so that's going to give you a list of about 20 top performing models in that sector. And then what you actually need to do is you need to figure out, why are they performing better? What is visually there about their content? What are they doing different? What is there that's making me want to watch? So within each video, again, when you're new to this, really reverse engineering each video. Well, why did it go viral? Was there pattern disruption? Was it different? So pattern disruption, what does that mean? Well, if you're scrolling on Instagram all day, like a serial gooner, and something different comes up, i.e. a bounce, a jiggle, something that makes you like, oh, whoa, what the fuck? What was there? Why did that stop you? Why did that capture your attention? Best example of this, I'm sure everyone knows, is like Jelly Bean when she jumps on the car. It's not normal for anyone to jump on a $500,000 Lambo. It's not normal, so that disrupts your pattern. That disrupts you and that captures your attention. Another thing is, was there a visual hook? So a visual hook simply means when you look at a video, were her boobs jiggling? Was her bum bouncing? Was there something within her facial expression? Was there something that kept you hooked to the video so that you were certain something was going to happen, or you had your attention there for the next 2 to 5 seconds? Was there controversy? So was she saying something crazy in this video? Was she saying something that could go crazy? Like that is controversial? Or was there a reward at the end of watching the video? So when you watch that video, was there something that you are rewarded for watching that video? I.e., maybe, for example, there was a boob bounce at the end, a jiggle. Maybe there was something that was said at the end. Maybe she looked good at the end, or it was an undress at the end. Whatever the case may be, you have to really understand is to go viral. Because right now, what it actually is to go viral, because right now, you're going to be new to this. And this is going to be a full-term commitment to get success. Because you have a model at this point, and understanding what it takes to make them go viral, literally being able to do that changes everything. And if you dedicate hours to this, once you sign the model, your focus must go into being able to drive traffic. Again, Twitter and Reddit are platforms that are on the side to allow you to bring a bit of traffic in so you can focus on nailing going viral. Because when you start at this, you're not going to be the best at it, but week on week, you want to track your improvements. It's actually relatively simple, but it all comes down to your ability to drive traffic. And I'm going to go through the operations of it when it actually comes to applying it to your models. But when it comes to, again, if we look back at over here, when it comes to driving traffic, it's not just going to come like this. The more you spend on your For You page, the more you commit to understanding how it works, and the more you commit to improving your ability, the better you're going to get at it. So really actually spend the time to understand exactly why videos go viral, and then now spend the time on actually applying it to your model. Because at the end of the day, you have got to be able to apply it to your model. So when it comes to your strategy and your operations, so again, we're going to go through now, aside from the theory behind it, we're going to go through the application. So, beginner's mistake is overcomplicating the warm-up. The same for Reddit and Twitter. And the launching process of Instagram accounts. It's actually really simple. All you have to do is make sure that your phone only has 1 to 3 accounts, and make sure you don't use a cooked phone. A cooked phone is a phone that's made multiple 5 to 10 plus Instagram accounts on that phone. You make accounts with Gmail, you verify them with a 2-factor authentication. So you add the number to the account, you make it as real and as humanly as possible, and then you follow the warm-up. So warm-up, again, simple. I'm going to do that. 1 action per day. Day 1, you make the account, you leave it. Day 2, you warm up the For You page with accounts in that niche, and you change the username if you need to change it. Day 3, 1 feed post. Day 4, 1 feed post. Day 5, 1 feed post. Day 6, you post your first reel. Day 7, you post a reel and you add a link. How do you avoid shadow bans? You use LinkMe. So within your model's OnlyFans, we're going to go through the funnel later, but you use LinkMe so that you have a link for the account. You don't act like a bot. You don't do overly sexualized content, and you check your account status daily. Your target at the start is 100 free fans per day with IG. And once you start to build an account and get a bit of traction, your target is 500 free fans per day with IG. Now, when it comes to IG targets, so looking at your account is now the next stage. You want to track that account performance. You want to track how is that account actually doing. So your average views, how is your performance actually improving, and how is your understanding of content. When you look at your accounts on a weekly basis, you want to look at your model's content and the competitors' content. Where is the difference? What's working with my models? What's not working? What's working with competitors? Why is that not working with my model? Why? Because you need to basically use the product or use the market as your benchmark. Use what's working. Again, you're not here trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not here trying to do something new. You're simply trying to apply what already works to your own creator. And your ability to do that is actually the difference between your creator not making money or not going viral and going viral. So really spending the time to actually analyze what other creators are doing, analyze why your creator's performance isn't matching that. That's how you're going to be able to reverse engineer your way to success. Because on the posting wise, you're posting about 2 reels per day, 3 to 5 stories per day. On the feed on the Instagram account, 2 feed posts per week. But you really want to make sure that every single post has intention and has purpose and has a chance of going viral. Because the actual reality is that you're 1 video away from that creator going to make $10,000 per month. It's to be honest, it's actually ridiculous how simple it is when you compare this to other businesses. Because when you actually simplify it down, it's so basic, and it's just about nailing these core things. And again, you can reverse engineer all of this if it's not working for you right now. You can reverse engineer all of this and reverse engineer, well, what needs improving? Why is the content still not at it? What am I not seeing? And be strict on yourself, because again, your ability to drive results with traffic is genuinely one of the most important things for you to drive results in this business. So be strict on yourself, be strict on your understanding, be strict on your performance. Again, if you're committed to this and if you put the time that is necessary, you're going to get to these targets. And again, we go back up to those examples earlier in this video. 100 free fans a day is anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a month on the OnlyFans account. It's really that basic. So when we look at traffic, that's really how it needs to be. And again, remember, you should be taking notes, you should be going through this in detail, but when it comes to Instagram, that's really what it takes. And you're focused on that, you're focused on having Twitter and Reddit running in the background. We'll go through hiring later on. If you're committed to that and you do in the inputs and you're improving the content, over time, that content will start to perform, and within the 30 days of a model, you should have a video that overperforms. A benchmark for this in average views is if your account, launch a new account or your model's active account's getting around 2 to 3K views average, you're on the right track. So if you're below that, you want to aim for about 2 to 3K views average a video, and once you have that, you know you're about to go viral. It'll be a kind of process from there. So that's kind of marketing and traffic summarized, and that applies then as you go further from 100 free subs a day to 500, that's then you scaling from $10,000 a month to 50,000, from 500 free subs a day to 1,000 or 100 paid subs a day. That's then pushing to the $100,000 a month for one account category. So that's why it's so important, and I go on about it in every video, in all of my Telegram posts, in all of my Instagram stories, because if you know it's super important. But we're going to go into chatting now, and I'm going to go through everything when it comes to chatting. So chatting, how does it actually work? Well, first of all, 90% of your income is going to come from chatting. So chatting on the OnlyFans account makes up for 90% of the income. And the funny thing is that it's actually the easiest thing to get right, because it's simple psychology, it's easy sales tactics, and it's really easy to extract from the guys that sub to these Only creators. And the main thing that you need to understand is, one, what the customer wants, and the second thing is understanding that they are willingly paying for this content. At the end of the day, the whole OnlyFans industry is off the back of these guys choose to pay for this content. They could easily pay for this content. They could easily go on Pornhub, go on anywhere else and get this content for free. And they choose not to. They choose for that interaction. Well, why is that the case? Because they seek something more than just videos and content. And your job as a model on this account is to understand what is it they're craving and what is it they want, and be able to provide that with the model's content. It's really as simple as that. And if you use this to your advantage, you can make a shit ton with chatting. So we'll go through the two sides of chatting. Side number one is actually selling to the fans. Side number two is relationship building, and making sure these things are in unison are super, super important. But we'll go into selling first. So how selling actually works on an OnlyFans account is you'll be primarily selling scripts. So scripts of your model in the model's vault. So how it's actually labeled and filmed is your model will have videos that are in sequences, so that they're filmed back to back to back to back to back. So it looks live and it looks like the guy's talking to the model live. And those videos, those pieces of content, you'll be selling them for certain prices, and you'll be upselling them the more explicit they get. And the funny thing is within selling is that 80% of your money comes from 20% of your fan. And your objective is to upsell to your fans as much as possible. This is a great example of upselling. So you can see here, $60 was the first unlock, $80 was the next one, 100, 150, and then if there was more, it would be 200, for example. But that's an example, and again, it's an old screenshot of what I mean by upselling. So when you're selling a script to a fan, again, within that script, how you want to actually have the messages is, one, you're preparing the script. So you're talking back and forth. You're, one, either getting to know the fan if he's a new fan, or two, you're preparing to move the conversation into more sexual. The minute you get that, you then want to start selling her content, and you want to ladder it. So you want it to get more and explicit as you go. And upselling that content and selling the best videos for $150, $200 is how you're going to make a lot of your money on the account. Because at the end of the day, if you're able to price correctly and upsell correctly, you're really able to scale the spend of a low amount of fans in the account. And this is partly one of the reasons why it's so easy to make money in OFM, because you don't need a lot of traffic, you don't need a lot of fans to make $5,000 or $10,000 in 1 month. You pretty much need about 5 to 10 decent fans, and that's really how simple it is. Yeah, it's pretty jokes. But in terms of relationship building, so again, within selling, you want to tie in relationship building throughout the whole thing. Too many agencies burn their fans and just focus on trying to sell. And what that actually does is it turns away whales, and it doesn't allow for the lifetime customer value of the fan to be as high as possible. And your objective is to get as many whales in that account as possible. So your objective with selling and with relationship building is finding whales and extracting from whales, because genuinely, your ability to do that will be the difference with an account earning high amounts or low amounts. And it depends on your traffic, but when it comes to extracting whales, it all comes down to your attention to detail. And if you want to be able to attract whales and have guys literally spend thousands on your creator, it comes down to your ability to focus on the details. Great case studies here on one of our accounts. One account, one fan has spent $60,000 in 3 months. Literally within 3 months. $20,000 a month from one fan. And that's kind of what you're able to do with good chatting. And that's what I mean when it comes up for 90% of your revenue once you have those fans in the door. And it all comes down to your attention to detail. Because again, if you remember the little details, if you remember the little things that the guy's wife might not remember about him, no girl in his life might remember about him. You're going to stand out. And again, we have to tie this back, is that the guys that are subbing to these accounts, they want to feel a connection with a girl online and they want to spend for that. And your ability to basically be in the middle of that transaction is what gets you paid. And that's really how it works essentially when it comes to chatting, because at the end of the day, when it comes to your actual selling, you want to have everything as script. So you would pre-sell, so set up the sell, set up the script. That might be, for example, your model coming home, a 5-second video of her getting in the door, and then from there it goes to her at home, and then goes to more explicit her at home, and so on and so forth. And you want to bring that authentic experience. Again, the best thing about being a beginner is that it's so easy to bring that authentic experience to the account and have the guys actually believe they're talking to the model, because it's actually relatively easy to do so. For example, a great misconception is like, oh, what if the guy knows he's talking to a chatter or to you? Well, it's very actually easy. If you have pre-loaded videos, pre-recorded videos of the model, that you're saying, what do you mean you're talking to me? If you want, I can put 5 fingers up, or how many fingers you want me to put up. And you have these pictures already in your account with those amount of fingers up, or with whole hand up. Also voice notes, again, all of these aspects to be as real as possible. So voice notes is a great example. You can have preloaded voice notes in the OnlyFans account, so you can have a conversation go a certain direction for a yes or no answer, and then you have a voice note which relates to replying to that yes or no answer, so it's always the same thing every time. What does that do? Well, that makes you appear to be more real. When you appear to be more real, the guy is more likely to spend, because again, he's on that OnlyFans account to get that connection, to get that thing that he craves that he doesn't have with any girl in real life. And your ability to understand that and go about that the right way is the difference on the OnlyFans account. And there's so many other tactics when it comes to chatting, but these are the core 2 things that I would want you to focus on, is the selling side of it, understanding how to upsell, script selling, and focusing on script selling, and then the relationship building side of it. So from the minute a fan comes into the account, you want to get to know them, get to know what their hobbies are, what their interests are, what their job is, their name, the details that you can then use as ammo further down the line. And again, really going above and beyond within this, because again, the more attention to detail, the more better your approach is, the more money you're able to make. But when it comes to chatting, here we go about how do you actually go about chatting. So at the start, you have to chat yourself to understand how it works, how you can extract as much from the fans, and learning the skill on how to sell is key in your agency and will pay dividends as you scale and as you hire chatters. When I started myself, this was literally what allowed me to make 35k my first month with extremely low traffic. As you can see from this example here, there's not many subscribers coming into this account, but you can obviously see from the sales, this account just within the space of a few hours is doing $250, $330, nearly $400 essentially in just one 5-hour window. And with good chatting, you're able to do that on these accounts. And again, at the start, going about doing it yourself is essential to learn the skill, which you will then coach and teach down the line. And once you're at that good level of understanding where you're consistently selling to fans, you're getting traffic in, and your time needs to double down on traffic, that's when the best thing about this industry is that you can hire chatters extremely easily. And this is the kind of stage in your journey where you level up. You make your first hire, and most likely the first hire is going to be the first hire you make. So when it comes to hiring, you probably haven't done it before, and that's why I have a whole section in this YouTube video on exactly how you go about hiring your first chatter, because I made a load of mistakes when I hired my first chatter. Plenty of people I know have also done the same. So going about hiring your first chatter in the right way is extremely important to, again, have a higher chance of success. So before we go into going about hiring your first chatter, when we look at everything in terms of chatting, all of these things is what you're then going to have to teach when you hire someone. So what's the actual step-by-step of hiring someone? Well, step 1 is write a job post. So your goal is to attract the right type of chatters. Simple place for this, there's literally a website called OFM Jobs where you can literally hire chatters. And if you have a look here, you have certain chatters, certain job posts, etc. What you want to put is your pay, so typically about $3 an hour, 2 to 4% commission, it depends on how big your account. You want to focus on Philippine chatters. The reason why, Philippine chatters are the best people, like genuinely working with massive teams of Philippine chatters. They have great English, They are great at relationship building and like understanding with the fans, and they're great at following instructions and doing a good job, and they're motivated. And again, what you get leverage of is the average wage in Philippines compared to hiring someone from where you're from, if you're from UK, USA, Europe, is that your pay is actually super competitive to what they would get average working a job in Philippines, for example. Pay more than any other job that they would get working normally, for example. So there actually is a massive community of Philippines chatters that make very good money, make anywhere from $800 to $2,000 a month chatting on big OnlyFans accounts. And again, your ability here is you're able to hire the right people and have them handle things that make you more money and make you focus on the things that actually matter on scaling, which is driving more traffic. And you're able to start building that team. Again, we go back to the start of the restaurant example. At the start, you're going to have to do things that in the future you're not going to keep having to do, but it's important that you nail it right from the start, so then you can hire the right people that handle these jobs for you. So essentially what they're doing is obviously chatting on the account. It's essentially what you're doing. How that process actually looks is you want to collect and screen applications. So literally use a Google form. You want to get their English score, their ability, and you want to test their ability. So on that Google form, you want to handle a lot of things like type speed, English speed, qualifications, university degree, past experience, examples of work, examples of their commissions, examples of their sales, as much data as possible. And then you want to start testing them. So scoring them on their English, their typing speed, their coachability, and specific things within their chatting. Because now you're a good chatter, you actually know what you're looking for. So testing them on different scenarios. So not just like being horny or selling, testing them with genuine conversation, how to be authentic. And then also having a voice interview, or at least I would do a Zoom, a Google Meet interview, where you actually see who they are, see how they are as a person, and really understand, can you get the best out of this person? And is this potential employee going to really go above and beyond on the account and handle it with the care that you would yourself? And it doesn't stop there. The next part, once you've made that decision on who you hire, is actually the onboarding and phasing them in. The same way with the models, how important model onboarding is actually the same way how important it is for chatters. And spending the time to coach them, spending the time to audit their chats, spending the time to actually see how you can help them, shadowing their live chats, showing examples of good chats and tracking them, giving them feedback, coaching them, giving them a roadmap on how they're going to improve their chatting, and giving case studies to them, showing examples. You can go above and beyond, and this is the kind of step up when it comes to the inputs of you as an agency owner, because as you stop chatting yourself, you need to make sure that it's being done at an extremely good level. And if it's not, you're going to lose out on money and time replacing that chatter. So spending time to review the performance, coach them one-on-one, get them to a similar level that you are, is going to be essential for how much money you make. And when it comes to that, I mean, if you follow that successfully, I mean, congratulations, you would have made your first hire. But what are the biggest misconceptions, or the biggest thing that people get wrong with hiring, and why there's so much pain and fear behind hiring someone, or I'd rather do it myself? That held me back. That belief system held me back for the longest. It was like, oh, I'll just chat myself, I'm better anyway, I can do it better anyway. Or I'll just do it myself. I thought like that because I didn't know how to train. I didn't know how to hire the right people. I didn't know how to screen them, interview them, I didn't go through all these processes. And the reason why I'm breaking them down to you is because I've made these mistakes myself. So when it comes to the mistakes that most people make, is they skip the work. So they skip the test before they make the hire. They skip the simulation. They hire straight from 5. I've literally seen guys hire. I've done it myself. The first applicant I got, I hired. Retarded. No live tests or no role play. So no actually testing them on how they actually are as a chatter. Always include that. Follow up and feedback. So once you've hired them, everyone just leaves them on the account, go do your thing. No, you have to constantly reiterate, constantly give reviews, constantly give feedback, constantly correct in real time, and actually give the chatter improvements, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be perfect. You're not perfect when you started this. So many mistakes you would have done when you first started. So being a good manager is essential. The other thing is the accountability loop. So actually tracking their performance, tracking and seeing how they're performing. And if you have started to build a team on an OnlyFans account, you'll have 24/7 coverage. So as you have enough traffic, you'll have 8 hours chatter, 8 hours chatter, 8 hours chatter to make sure that you have free chatters on the account. That account is being chat to 24/7. So actually tracking who's performing better than the others and giving some healthy competition, again, is going to improve their performance. And all of these things are going to make you more money. That's why I'm going through them in so much detail. The other thing is being lazy with your approach. So again, a lot of people hire the first candidate. If you do that, you're going to lose money, you're going to lose time, because when you hire the right chatter, they're going to smash it on your account, extract even more from the spenders, and you get to spend all that focus on marketing. And again, think about it. When you have this synchronicity within your chatting and within your traffic, where you're focused on driving as much traffic as possible with the best possible chatting, it's a recipe for success. And that's how you make money within this business. So at this point now, you have a much better understanding when it comes to traffic. So you have a much clearer understanding of what the step-by-steps you need to do once you sign the model. Step-by-step, what you do with Reddit, what you do with Twitter, and how you focus on Instagram. You now also know step-by-step what you need to do with chatting, how you focus on relationship building, how you sell, how you upsell, how you hire your first chatter, how you onboard them, how you find them, how you train them, and how you avoid the common mistakes. Where this all ties into is arguably one of the most important sections now, which is the applying this and how this applies to your current situation as an agency or a beginner in OnlyFans management. And what we're going to go through now is the different stages that you will face as an agency. Why this is so important is because everyone has gone through these common mistakes, myself, multiple other agency owners included. And the most important thing is that you skip those mistakes. You don't need to go through them. Arguably, some of them you will need to go through, but a lot of them, if you understand going into different revenue levels, going into what your bottleneck, what your issues are, why you're not making more money, they're very easy to solve. So I've broken it down into different categories and we're going to go through each one by one. So 0 to 10K a month, but this is a complete newbie, a complete beginner. What are you bad at? Well, you've got not enough traffic or very poor chatting. Essentially, any OnlyFans account can make 10K per month. And to be honest, with how easy OFM is to scale, there should be no reason why you're stuck under that, only unless you're in your first week. And if you are, you really need to look at your inputs. As with any minimal traffic, any creator can make 10K a month, just as I said. You must break your limiting beliefs here. So you probably have the belief system that it's hard to scale, it's hard to break out of this ceiling, it's hard to drive traffic, but these are all self-imposed. And the thing is that all of your inputs have to be aligned in order to break out of this barrier. And your identity has got to shift, not out of a brokey 2-3K a month person. Your identity has to shift to a 10K, 20K per month person who understands how important it is what they're doing and understands that they need to learn a skill. They need to learn how to get better at traffic and get better at chatting so that you're not stuck in this barrier. And when it comes to, it's so easy to make more than that. You only need one model, you need a bit of traffic, you need good chatting, and you can just focus on nailing IG and Reddit and good chatting. It's really, really simple if you're stuck at this barrier. And when you're stuck at this, what is it you should focus on? So one is, again, always going to be signing higher quality models. When you sign your first model, the biggest misconception that people do is they stop outreaching. It's so retarded, but I've done that myself. Everyone I know has done that. They stop trying to sign more models because they need to focus on their current models. The reality is no, you don't need to do that. You need to keep looking to sign the right model, because the right model will genuinely change everything for you, for her, and for your agency. But regardless about signing the right models, you need to get better at driving traffic on IG and Reddit and mastering chatting. Again, if you're at this stage, you probably either don't have enough chat and you don't have enough traffic, so you have to be able to drive traffic with IG and Reddit. But again, it always comes down to you committing to that. And it's really not that difficult to be at 10K a month. And when you learn the skills of driving traffic and the skill of chatting, you blow past that barrier. So the next one is 10 to 30K a month. And I see a lot of guys stuck in this barrier too. And again, what are your main constraints? Well, your main constraints are not enough traffic or low quality models. Again, here the issue is either you must get better at driving traffic to your model's pages, or you must work with better models. Here, you're averaging, let's say, 1K a day, $500 a day, give or take. So you understand chatting to some degree, but the reality is you need more traffic or you need better models. The misconception here is that you need many models to make $100,000 a month in OnlyFans management. The reality actually is you can do this with one model. If she's the right model and you understand how to market her, you can scale her to $100,000 a month. Again, there's no point me going through my examples again, but you get the point. Mastering traffic is the biggest leverage skill you can do. And the biggest thing I see here with a lot of agency owners is thinking that they know everything and thinking that they know what they're doing, and their belief that belief is actually holding them back because they haven't truly understood the skill of driving traffic to a model's page or haven't maximized potential at all. And definitely this is where ego kicks in, because right here, if you think you know everything, then your results should match. And if you've been stuck at this barrier of 10 to 30K a month and you haven't made the connections, you haven't made the understanding of what needs to change, what inputs need to change on your end, then there's something that you're doing wrong. And getting that external perspective, speaking to the right people, learning from the right people is going to change and challenge your perspective. But understanding that even just from watching this video, maximizing traffic is going to be your number one priority, because that's what's going to break you out of that barrier. And if you think you know everything when it comes to traffic, trust me, you know nothing at this point. So the other issues here are splitting your focus, so doing multiple traffic sources. Again, at this point is where you have to double down on IG. It is stupid to just focus on Reddit or focus on Twitter. These are platforms that can be ran on the side and VAs can manage them. By the way, when it comes to hiring VAs for Reddit or Twitter, you use OFM jobs as well. I forgot to mention that earlier in the video. It's the same process as hiring a chatter. But splitting your focus and not spending time on the things that are going to make you more money, which is learning the skill of driving traffic and getting distracted because you make a bit of money. I mean, at this point, you make maybe 10 to 15K a month profit and you're getting distracted, you're traveling, you're doing all of this bullshit, which in the moment, yes, well done. Like, you've achieved the pain that you had to have a bit of freedom, but this is the jail, the 10K a month jail. And if you set your targets this small, you're going to be stuck at this. And the reality is you don't actually have much freedom here. You can't actually do much. And if you just committed to pushing to 6 figures a month rather than fucking 5 figures a month, you're going to get far further than you are right now. In terms of what you should actually focus on in this barrier, high quality model, that's going to be apparent at every barrier. But again, mastering driving traffic on IG. You can go back to the example of Instagram. This is scratching the surface when it comes to Instagram and when it comes to the actual daily ins and outs. When you actually go through it yourself, and when you go through what it actually takes to go viral, when you go through the improvements to your model's content, when you go through improving your model's content, comparing it to other models, you're going to find more and more things every single week. And your lens of viewing accounts, viewing traffic, viewing views is going to shift on a week-to-week basis, because your understanding is going to shift on a week-to-week basis. And what you really want to be aware of is whenever your understanding isn't improving or you haven't learned something new, then there's something going wrong. And that's when the alarm bell should be ringing. Not when you don't know anything or you're learning things, because that's a great sign. It's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign when you ever think you know everything, because if you ever get that sign, then the chances are is that you're in a danger zone where you need external influence. You need to push your thinking, you need to push your model's approach, because you should never be stuck to this revenue mark at any point. The next point is $30,000 to $60,000 a month. So again, here, scaling your traffic further and putting your time into the right things. That is where you need to focus on. The biggest issue here is spending your time on the highest ROI things in your agency. I see so many agency owners stuck in this cycle where they're making a bit of money, but not enough to actually be financially free. And they're stuck in the day-to-day of their business without knowing how to scale it and get out of it. And here is again where a lot of agency owners just take their foot off the gas with signing clients or driving more traffic. And that's the biggest mistake that you can make. The biggest mistake here is now getting obsessed within the day-to-day stuff, hiring people, managing your team, managing the chatters, going through editing content, uploading content, posting on Instagram. Like, I see so many owners, agency owners, posting on Instagram themselves, and it's simply a waste of time. Again, you're not making that much money at this point, and you still need to focus on how you grow further. The reason why I don't make a guide that is 0 to 10K a month, because if you're in this business, you should be aiming far, far more. And if you're stuck in that middle ground, you should be doing something about it. Because at the end of the day, you should not be settling for 30K a month or 50K a month. You should be always pushing further. And again, if this is you watching this video, this is by far one of the number one things that I go through with the guys that I actually work with within my one-to-one coaching, because again, from 30 to 50K a month, it's actually the easiest realm to push from there to $100,000, $200,000 a month. So if that is you watching this video, just simply fill out the form below and see if you qualify, and we'll get on a call and I can see if I can help you scale to that 100K plus a month mark. But when it comes to here is that when taking your foot off the gas with signing new clients again on driving more traffic, it's the biggest mistake you can make when you're focusing on the back end and the low level tasks, neglecting the highest needle moving tasks as more clients and more traffic. And you must not make this mistake. You must make the right hires here that buy your time back, focusing on the marketing and client acquisition. Your ability to drive traffic and assign better models at this point is the difference between you being stuck at 50K a month and scaling past 100K a month. And again, anyone who is in this position, it's so basic what actually needs to be done to get out of this rut or get out of this ceiling. But when you're stuck in this, you don't realize what you're doing wrong, even though you're working hard, you're doing everything right. And these are the common pain points of agency owners that are stuck within this thing. And they see people like me, they see other agency owners making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month, and they ask how are they doing it? They know the models, they know this, they know what we're doing, but they still can't make the switch. And that's the key thing, is understanding how you apply all of this together, because it's very contextual as well. The lessons, the things that I go through, you have to understand how that applies to your own model, your own creator, your own team. You need the right judgment on characters, on hires that you make, on your time. You need to be self-accountable, auditing your own time. Where are you wasting time? Where are you putting your time in the wrong things? And the same thing that kind of holds you back at this point is still the same things that hold you back from the 60 to 90K a month mark, because it's very similar. It's still good. It's just a bit better, but it's still not good enough. And the biggest thing here, same as that point, is keeping your ego in check and not getting comfortable, because comfort will kill you. And the biggest thing holding you back is your targets, your comfort zone, because you're making decent money. But if you want to scale, you have to push to that next level. You have to do what you're not comfortable doing right now. And otherwise, you will just stay stuck at this level. And that's what held me back 2 years ago, when I was making this kind of money, making crazy money at the time, and it held me back because I wasn't seeking for discomfort, seeking to get further and seeking to push for more. And understanding that and understanding how that plagues so many other agency owners as well is key, because you still have to master traffic delivery. You still have to put the time into signing top quality models, because that is the difference here. The better models you have, the better you are at driving traffic, the more money you make, the more money you earn. And it's really simple. And at this point, you will have chatters, you will have a baseline team. And if you focus on the right things that drive the most revenue, you're going to make more money. And if you hire for the things that are going to take over your time, run the day-to-day, run a lot of low-level operations, chatters, QAs, chat managers, these sort of things, you can focus on the main thing, which is driving more traffic and signing more models. And it's very funny, because if you put that time and you literally just fully commit to improving that skill, you're going to get better. It's simple as that. But if you ever are chilling or happy or comfortable, it's going to hold you back. And that's really as simple as it is when it comes to the different stages of where you are as an agency. The most common ones are people that are stuck in the middle. And if you're watching this and you're brand new, again, what you want to use this and apply this to is how you speed run your way to $100,000 a month, because that's really what it should take. Again, you've seen my example, you've seen Oscar's example, and you can speed run your way through these different revenue marks. If you know the common problems, you avoid them and you do the right inputs and the right actions. Because at the end of the day, it's all down to your application. Watching this whole video fully, taking notes, knowing about everything that I've gone through doesn't mean anything unless you apply and take action. And the level of action you take, the level of testing you do, the conviction you do with that action is going to determine your results. So the next part that we go into is, what do you actually focus on when you are an agency owner? So once you have models, you have chatters, you have marketing systems, and you know how to drive a bit of traffic, you have other virtual assistants, what do you actually focus on as an owner? Because one of the common problems is that you don't know where to put your time into. You're not sure, you don't have that guidance, you don't have that accountability. And what I want to do is clarify that for you and make it clear what you should focus on as an actual agency owner. So first of all, you must be constantly focused on the most important revenue driving task in your agency. As you scale and you start to make more money, the most important thing you do is hire to buy back your time for the more tedious, low-level tasks in the business. The more you focus on signing the best clients and getting better at driving traffic and having the best sales team, the more money you make. At the start, you don't have the leverage of other people. You don't have the leverage of using your money to buy back your time onto the right thing. So you must do everything. At the start, you're posting, you're doing the chatting, you're thinking of video ideas, you're helping the model film, you're doing everything. But the quicker you learn the skill of delegating, hiring, buying your time back, and you take action on it, as you scale your revenue, don't let that limiting belief hold you back that you're good at everything. Because the reality is that you might be the best at it now, but trust me, if you hire someone and their full job is that one thing that you're good at, you can get them to be great at it. And the quicker you remove that limiting belief, the thing that held me back the most is thinking that I can do everything and I can do everything better myself. I can do outreach myself, I'm the best at it. I can do marketing myself, I'm the best at it. I can do traffic myself, I'm the best of it. But that belief system is only going to hold you back as you scale. At the start, that doesn't matter. But as you scale, that's going to hold you back. And the quicker you understand business, the quicker you understand the four basics of business, and you hire the right people for your team, you delegate your information properly, and you buy your time back to focus on the most revenue driving activities in your agency, the quicker you're going to hit 100K and 6 figures a month. So the more you do low level tasks, posting online, organizing content, uploading content, editing content, the more slow your growth will be because your time is in the wrong things. So how do you spend your day? So number one, you must structure your day and structure your time that you're auditing what you're actually working on. So making sure you're blocking out your day for deep work blocks, specific tasks that have to get done. The quicker you go all in on this switch and become a serious business owner quicker, the faster you're going to scale. If you want to make truly life-changing money, you have to be prepared to change your day-to-day identity. Biggest thing in terms of this is, I used to think all of this stuff was bullshit, all of this stuff was gay, and you just need to work hard. But the minute you add structure in your morning routine, in your day-to-day work, into blocking out your time, into allocating time for certain things that you know are going to drive you more revenue or more time back or more focus, the quicker the better you're able to make decisions. And your ability to make decisions will be tested. Your ability to make decisions and the right decisions will be the difference maker with how quick you scale. That's why you see people with the same information in the same program or in the same understanding get further than other people than others. And again, it comes down to you, and it comes down to how meticulous are you, how in detailed are you. Because if you do the inputs and you put the time into really putting your time into the right things, focusing on the right tasks, mastering the right core skills, you're going to scale. You're going to sign your first model, you're going to get better at traffic, and you're going to scale to 50K per month. And it's so simple to me, but old me when I was 19, and if someone told me this, I would still have ego kick in. I would still contest it. I would still think I know better. So the main thing, if you're watching this, is to really take it in and really see how it applies to you, because the more action you take, the better outcomes you're going to have. When it comes to this, you're going to have to dedicate time to truly dedicate and master traffic, how to analyze the market, reviewing your ideas, testing, tracking your model's performance, improving your understanding, seeking new information. And once you fully make this commitment, shift your identity, and you go all in, you will be able to drive more traffic to your models and you will be able to get paid more. It's such a simple equation, and the reason why I go over it so many times is because I know I needed to hear things 10 times before I actually applied them and realized I was stupid for not taking action the first time. And that's why I want it so simple and so clear as day in terms of from watching this video, what action you need to take, because you must constantly look to bring in new models into your agency. And if you can't handle them, and if you don't have enough team, then you must be able to make sure that your team are capable and you are capable to handle new models coming in. So hiring more, improving your systems, improving your management. All of that stuff is more boring business stuff. But when it comes to signing new models, you want to always be in the position where you can take on more work. The most stupid thing, like by far, the most stupid thing I've heard agency owners say is, oh, I'm not taking more models on right now because I'm focusing on my current clients. Or I'm not taking any more clients, I can't really take them on right now, I'm too busy. Retarded. Absolutely, literally makes me crash out. Because as a business, you're literally saying no to potential money because of your inability to build an actual business. And that's why I go through things so specific, because if you build an actual business and you look at this business, not as some get rich quick scheme, not as some make money online scheme, you look at this business as something that can genuinely change your life, as it has done for me, as it has done for plenty of other people that I know and I have taught. You can do that and change your life if you treat this business seriously. And if you're saying no to models and saying no to money, you're just cooking yourself. So whenever things aren't working out and whenever you're going through roadblocks, because business isn't this thing like this, it's going to be up and down. The quicker you solve your problems, the quicker you solve your bottlenecks, the quicker you come to the right conclusions, the quicker and faster that you scale. And you need to obviously commit to solving those things with speed. By far, when we look at everything in terms of business, the biggest lesson is speed. Everyone knows this, everyone's heard Tate say this, everyone's heard this from someone, but the biggest thing is speed. With this information, with this knowledge, the speed at which you take action on this video is going to determine your success. You can get to 30k a month in 30 days. You can get to 10k, 50k in 30 days. You can get to 100k in 90 days, depending on the speed at which you take action. Why? Well, let's break it down further, because when you take action with speed, you come to conclusions quicker. You understand things that don't work quicker. You're able to split test and test things quicker. And you're able to do the things that take time to figure out with speed. And that's why at the start, your priority has to be action and speed. The quicker you take action, the quicker you don't procrastinate, the quicker you do the things that you know you need to do, the quicker you see results and you see success. It's actually so basic. That's why I can reiterate it so many different times, because the quicker you do the things that you know you need to do, when you've learned this information now, you need to take action on it. And speed is going to be your number one priority, because the quicker you come to conclusions, the quicker you sign your first model, the quicker you do all of these things, the quicker you make money. And it's really as simple as that. Because at the end of the day, everyone in this business who's already scaled way past 6 figures a month has had to go through these same things. And within watching this video, again, go back to the certain things with chatting, certain things with traffic, take notes, make sure that you apply the things that I go through, because all of these things are going to get you to that $100,000 a month mark, but more importantly, get you from $0 to $50,000 a month. And in terms of this video, I hope everything was clear, the action that you need to take were clear, and you understand exactly the importance of these specific things. And when you hit these levels, when you hit 50k a month, 30k a month, 10k a month, 60k a month, make sure to go back to these specific lessons, these specific things, so you don't make these mistakes. Because trust me, you will if you don't go back. And the more you apply that, the quicker you're going to grow, the quicker you're going to scale, the quicker you're going to get to 50k a month, and more importantly, the quicker you're going to change your life for the better. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, just to reiterate everything, the reason why I'm saying all of this, because I am speaking from experience and I've gone through these stages myself, and I know exactly what holds you back. And if you want to speed the process up, you can literally book in a call with me in the description, and if you qualify, we'll get on a call and I'll break down how would I apply this to your situation one-to-one. But aside from that, I hope you boys enjoyed this video. I hope it is exactly what you need to get to 50k a month. I mean, it is, and why OnlyFans is far better of a business model than any of these other businesses, why you should get started, stop procrastinating, stop waiting to take action, do the things you now know you need to do from the realizations you've made from this video, and I'll catch you boys in the next video. If you want to see other videos on my channel, feel free to go on my channel. I have a lot of other breakdowns like this in more detailed, in more experienced things for OnlyFans agencies. So go through them as well, so you have more actionable to apply when it comes to marketing, when it comes to chatting, and when it comes to signing clients. So I'll catch you boys in the next video.